Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of Armored Warfare. This is Tanks for the Mammeries, and today I'm going to do a two-game review and gameplay of video of the M60-2000, which is another premium tank that is on sale now at Obsidian Entertainment's my.com Armored Warfare website. And as I mentioned in my previous video, I hadn't played in a while. I had these tanks in the garage. Really haven't had much of an opportunity to use them. I did play this tank previously for a couple of games, but nothing that was just, in any way stand out. It's just got in there real quick to see what it was all about, and really didn't have an opinion of it. So I thought I would, get in here and play a couple of games seriously with this tank, just so I could kind of get a feel for it and tell you guys a little bit what I think about it. Your mileage may vary, but anyway, so let's talk about the tank a little bit as we watch me on Reactor map here with my team trying to win the battle. And I've been on this map before a couple of times, so I wasn't too concerned about where to go and what to do on this map. I did want to check out how the tank operated with this gigantic turret, and it seems to be pretty quick. I mean, it's not at all a slow tank. I'm getting 50 something kilometers an hour when I'm on flat paved surfaces, and I was getting 40 something across the ground. It feels very agile. It feels like a good driving tank. So here I am in the water, and I'm getting up 38, 37 till I run into somebody, but that's what happens. Everybody's trying to get the kills. So anyway, pretty good tank from the standpoint of feeling very agile and mobile. And I'm just going to leave that guy there to him and see if I can keep putting some heat into this guy down here. Alright, hit him in the lower plate there. Took a little hit in return, but it didn't do anything. And it's going to be the end of that guy. So anyway, this tank was a prototype design, and the idea was to be able to put an M1 Abrams turret on the body of an M60 tank. So for all the people the Americans had sold the M60 series of tanks to, we thought, well, if they can't afford to buy the M1, maybe we can sell them part of an M1 and they can just slap the turret on top of the body of the M60 series tanks and call it a day. And so the M60-2000 was a General Dynamics program which was designed to improve the aging M60 Patton series by mating the 60 hull with an M1A1 Abrams turret armed with an M256 120mm gun. The idea was to produce an affordable upgrade option for current Patton users. The development started in the 1990s and eventually led to the 1205 main battle tank. Turkey and Egypt were interested in upgrading their M60 stock, but eventually they opted for different upgrades. In Armored Warfare, this is the M60-2000 Tier 7 Premium Main Battle Tank. You can buy it in a package for $49.99, which gives you 4 million credits, 30 days of premium time, and the vehicle. It is an exclusive vehicle and will only be available for a limited time. So now we've moved up. We finished clearing out the folks who were trying to destroy the dam, and now we're going to go up and start protecting the reactor control room. And then, they say protect the reactor towards the end. There's two different reactors you're supposed to be protecting. Just so you guys know, those aren't actually the reactors. Those are the cooling towers. The reactor is a squat little concrete building next to all the power lines that has sort of a domed top on it. The two humongous things you see down there belching all that steam are the cooling towers for the reactor, not the reactor itself. Now I was talking about this in another video. I'm going to try and put a shot into that guy down there below me in a second. There's this guy down here, and I'm basically shooting almost directly down on top of him, and I'm going to bounce off the flat surface of his front of his hull. Now it's an MBT-70, so I won't call foul on that. But it seems like if you're taking shots from this level onto the deck, that you should have absolutely no trouble penetrating the tank. And I've had some really crazy ricochets and stuff doing that. So anyway, here the enemy is coming into the control tower area, or sorry, the reactor building area. It's supposed to be the control center, and we're supposed to fight them off from there. While we're watching this battle, I'm going to pull up some more information. So Wikipedia apparently calls the M60-2000 or 120S a modernized M60 Patton main battle tank marketed for export by General Dynamics Land Systems. The development was primarily due to the inability of nations owning the M60 to be able to afford more modern battle tanks. So General Dynamics devised the M60-2000 upgrade to offer many features of the M1A1 Abrams to existing M60 customers at reduced price. Got to sell those guns. So it was a conversion kit which included the gun turret and 120mm smoothbore gun. It was marketed to the countries that could actually do the work themselves, like Turkey and Egypt and some other countries that had the engineering and manufacturing capability to make the modifications themselves if we sold them the parts, kind of like a kit car. Along with a new turret, there was a new diesel power pack and transmission system from the M1, and that was all tested on a standard M60 chassis. Turkey considered upgrading their M60s to the M60-2000, but then instead opted for an Israeli upgrade package called the Sabra. And it's essentially a very similar thing. It wasn't an M1A1 turret, but it was a similar thing. The Egyptian army was considering this as well, and then eventually decided to switch out for their own internally designed and produced upgrade system. So that kind of was the end of that. But the tank is 56.52 tons. You can see me here getting up to 57 kilometers an hour. So this thing actually will get up and go on hard ground. Man, like I said before, I found this tank to be very responsive, very maneuverable, and quite fun to play. I actually really enjoyed playing this vehicle. So in real life, it's 56.52 tons, or 62.3 short tons, or 55.63 long tons. It is 9.55 meters long, including the gun, and 3.77 meters wide. It is 2.89 meters tall, had a crew of 4, commander, gunner, loader, and driver. The secondary armor was 2 7.62 millimeter 7.62 machine guns and 1 12.7 millimeter machine gun. Built by General Dynamics Land Systems, it had a air-cooled twin-turbo diesel engine in it at 1,200 horsepower, with a 22 horsepower per ton power-to-weight ratio. From what I understand, the suspension also ended up being very similar to the suspension of the when it became the 120S. Other articles say that the M60 part of the earlier M60-2000 designation is no longer considered relevant, as so much of the main battle tank is new. Here I am trying to shoot that Polish light tank, and I just couldn't pin it, so I switched over to trying to shoot the other guy. As you can see, I'm not pinning that thing at all. He's got a good angle on it. So this guy can shoot. Anyway, the next version of this, called the 120S, is a unique product that integrates the M1A1 120mm turret, equipped with 240x4 forward-looking radar onto a fully modernized M60 chassis. So I'm going around the reactor building now. This is the actual reactor building. The turret is protected with the latest armor, successfully demonstrated to the Turkish military command, and the ammunition is fully compartmentalized, just like a regular M1A1. The 120S chassis includes an M1A1 suspension system, giving the tank greatly improved cross-country mobility and a stable base for its fire-on-the-move accuracy, similar to an Abrams tank. It could take the Abrams power pack, diesel engines, similar to those used in the M88A2 and Merkava vehicles, and engine was mated to an Abrams transmission. So that's a lot of the details there. Let's see what else they say about it. It was marketed for a number of years, and a number of countries in NATO and the Middle East were briefed on the vehicle. The first potential customer again was Turkey, and then Egypt, but Turkey went the way of going for a modular upgrade package called the Sabra for their tanks, and Egypt decided to do something internally instead of dealing with the U.S. So that was pretty much the end of that. The Sabra main battle tank upgraded. It was basically the IDF upgrading its M60 forces. They added thick slabs of passive armor, new fire control system, thermal sleeve for the 105mm gun, and then they ended up getting the 120mm gun for it, and basically took original 1960s and 70s technology and replaced it with modern stuff. The Sabra's gun is 120mm, as I said, which is interoperable with NATO weapon systems and ammunition. It's similar to the gun on the Merkava Mark III main battle tank. It's mated to thermal imaging sights and the Night fire control system, which provides fire-on-the-move capability. The gun fits the older style turret and apparently just slipped right in. It was designed to fit right into the vehicle. Here I am having trouble with this guy, and I'm going to get some help from behind. But he actually had a tough time pinning me for a while too, but there's a guy coming up behind him that's going to take him out. So that was the end of that. Now, there's artillery up there firing at us, but they missed. Now we are in bad shape. As you can see, one of our, you can see the western tower right there is almost completely destroyed, and we are down to the last little sliver of health on that tower. The eastern tower is fine. The western tower is really almost gone. If we lose it, we're going to lose the fight. So a couple more enemy vehicles over here on this side. We only have a few seconds left to defend the tower, and these guys have pretty much got it around the corner. I'm going to come charging in there and try and help out, but they really don't need my help. I find a rock instead that needs some love from me, so we're going to give him some love. And I guess I get one more shot into this guy before the fight ends, pretty much. So anyway, that's going to be the end of that fight. So we've talked a little bit about the tank. I mean, it's essentially an M1A1 hat on a M60 body. So we win that fight, and again, my initial impression is the gun is decent. The tank is very maneuverable. It seems to turn quickly. It seems to accelerate well. It seems to drive very quickly. I mean, it's almost 60 kilometers per hour on flat surface. So that was nice, and it seems to have decent enough armor to withstand shots from other main battle tanks. So I'm not really complaining about the quality of this tank at all. I obviously didn't do as good as everybody else, but I still had, 18,000, whatever that is, 12,000, 13,000, I can't see it, it's all blurry, but pretty good. I didn't kill anybody worth a damn, but I did do a lot of damage, and I did get some spots in there. I missed 4 out of the 34 that I was firing, so it's 18,000 damage. It's not, not bad damage at all on this tank. It seems to do pretty well, so I'm not... I'd play this again. I think it's a pretty good tank, and obviously it's a premium. It gives you some reputation bonuses and things like that you don't get on your normal tank. So if you want to do a little grinding with it, earn a little credits, that's a pretty good vehicle for it. So let's move on to the next battle, and while we're in the queue waiting, you can see the stats on this tank. Does decent damage, right? Just under 500. Again, just under 500 in penetration. It's got a decent reload time, is 7+ seconds there, and damage per minute's not too bad. I mean, it's right in the sweet spot with the other, tier 7 tanks, main battle tanks. I think the thing about this is that the turret is just so good and so protective. That's really sort of this vehicle's calling card, if you will. So we end up on cavalry this time, and I'm going to start out. I think I start out playing with some heat here, just for fun and prizes, and see if I can do any damage to these guys with heat. I want to see if I can set some people on fire. The I wish the reload was like a second faster than it is, but I just took a shot right there from one of those guys, and it didn't do anything to me. So again, not a bad pile of armor on this tank. So this is a pretty straightforward map. They haven't done much to change this over time, and so can I hit him? Can I hit him? Can I hit him? I don't have a green mark. Gonna move up. The battle's passed me by, so it's time to get moving. I used to go over where the aircraft was and go to the village on the top of the hill there, but I decided to play this over here just to see if I could kind of take shots from both ways, and also to expose the tank to enemy fire so I could see kind of what would happen to it. Again, I'm just trying to get a feel for it myself, so I wasn't necessarily interested in coming out unscratched. I wanted to see what kind of damage it would take. And again, my nemesis, this fucking thing that is impossible to kill unless I'm in it. And by the time I get to see these guys, I think I jerked this shot. Artillery. Yeah, so I don't mind getting hit a little bit when I'm first learning. Oh, he stopped backing up right as I fired. Right as I go to shoot at him, he stops backing up. But I'd like to learn, what kind of damage these things can take, and kind of from what other vehicles out there. So the idea is to not just be unscathed, but to go ahead and get hit a little bit. So that's why I thought I would get up here on the top of this thing. So anyway, should start seeing a lot of bad guys appearing, and here they are. Be able to take some shots at them. This is a decent gun. I mean, it's able to hit targets at a good distance. Especially like the ammo racks and things like that from pretty far away. I probably rushed that shot a little bit. Now I'm taking some good hits. So kill that little guy right there. And the boss tank just ducked around the corner, and then that guy got killed. So now I'll be able to hit the boss tank. Come on, fella. Come on. Come around the corner. He's not moving up, so I'm going to have to. Again, I just sat there long enough to let the battle fall behind me. Now he's exposed to me. So put one in the engine compartment, hoping to put him on fire. See if we can get another one in the engine compartment. Took his tracks out. Yeah, so if this gun reloaded just a hair faster, this tank would be not just a good tank, but a great tank. Anyway, this is a pretty straightforward map. I think there's, this is a map that I'd like to see probably get a major upgrade, maybe move around some things like they did with some of the other maps, change the objectives a little bit, move the objectives around the map. There's the artillery that bastard kept shooting at me, so time to kill him, even though he's disappeared. And that's that. So now all we have is just a fish in a barrel shooting of whatever appears in front of us. And I'm going to pull up, take a shot, and back up so that other guy behind me can take shots. Not hitting that. Not going to do anything to that M1 from the front. And then everybody gets hard to see because they're all behind those buildings. And I missed him. Well, it bounced. That one didn't bounce. Now I'm looking behind me on the map. Take a shot of this guy. I see that there's somebody on the other side of the river, but I'm hoping those two guys next to me are dealing with a guy that's on the other side of the river. So I can put paid to him. Now I can face this way. And he will pop out. But I'm not going to shoot him in the top of the turret like that because God forbid it's going to fucking bounce like it always does. So I learned my lesson and decided not to shoot at the top of the turret because you'd think at that angle the armor's really thin. You would think at that angle whatever you shot would go right into it. But no, it always bounces, so fuck that. I'm not going to waste a shell. Here comes another one. And that, of course, bounced. Because reasons. There we go. Somebody else will kill him. I'm not going to waste another shot on him. I'm not going to chase him down. And I think there's probably another vehicle somewhere, but we can't seem to find him. So I decide that I'm going to spin around and head the other direction and see if maybe we didn't miss one back here some way. And then there's some guy who's going to be complaining about us sitting on the hill camping, which I didn't really understand, or why aren't we in the cap or something. And I thought, well, maybe I am missing something. Maybe I'm not understanding properly. Maybe I'm the stupid one, which is certainly in the realm of possibility. But no, it's not me. I don't know. You know, he just, I don't know what he's talking about. The battle's over. There may be one more vehicle out there somewhere that we haven't found yet, but essentially the fight's over, and I don't know what he's talking about hurrying up or whatever, but maybe he doesn't understand how the game works. So if I'm wrong, leave me a comment, but that's pretty much that. So guys, you know, not a bad tank. Is it worth whatever the price is, 49 bucks or whatever? Meh. It comes with a month of premium time, and it comes with, all the credits, the 4 million credits or whatever it is. But it's certainly a fun tank, and probably going to be a good earner in its tier, especially being a premium and getting you the additional reputation, the credits. Definitely think it is something that will make you money and will be a reasonably fun tank to play. There's nothing to me about it that stood out as a negative, and nothing really that stood out as a huge positive other than its speed and turret protection. So for what it's worth in its tier, seems great. I am not using it in player versus player where I'm going up against potentially higher tier tanks. So caveat my entire review by saying I am not using this tank in matches against other players that are playing at higher tiers. So bear that in mind. Again, fairly accurate gun. One of those misses was me just, I don't know, having a conniption. Decent damage, not near as much as the first game. But still, a decent tank. And I feel like I had some good enemy fire bounces on me and decent performance out of it. So there you have it. That is the M60-2000. I give you a little view of the vehicle. It has the ability to put some upgrades on it, but essentially that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and do check out my other videos. I will be doing one on the new French six-wheeled armored, basically tank destroyer, the armored car, the six-wheeled armored car, the new French one that's been put out there, came out on Bastille Day. That'll be my next video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I do appreciate it. This is Tanks with Mammeries playing Armored Warfare. Thank you all very much for your support and your patience while I was busy this summer. We're back in the saddle now, and I will be posting additional videos this week. You guys check them out, leave comments below, and let me know what you think. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.